Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly what it really means for the Star Wars fandom, of course, everything related to what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are currently putting together. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the Disney Star Wars universe is that there are a lot of fans around the world right now that are very well prepared for The Mandalorian Season 3, the Ahsoka TV show for 2023, and a lot of fans are really so-so on the Star Wars Andor show for multiple reasons that we went over a couple of days ago. If you're all excited for Andor, that's perfectly fine, but there's a lot of fans out there, including myself, that remain very skeptical about that show for two reasons, alright? John and Dave are not involved, and have never been involved, and number two is that this is a show that's been in the works for roughly 2.5 years, and that, of course, is when Kathleen Kennedy still had a lot of creative power back then, so it's very likely that a lot of her influence may have spilled into that show. So moving forward from all of this, alright, one thing that everything is happening between, of course, Disney CEO Bob Chapek and other, creatives out there like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni is that Chapek is allowing Favreau and Filoni to do exactly as they please with this new Star Wars universe, to really give the fans exactly what they've been asking for a number of years now. Now, bringing us to what's been happening behind the scenes by Chapek, and one major development that recently actually came to light that involves Kathleen Kennedy has a lot to do with a new Star Wars TV show that was eventually just cancelled. Now, with Disney CEO Bob Chapek making many key decisions behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm to bring Star Wars in a new direction, recently he made a very big change for the Star Wars community that would actually have created a big backlash from the fans. Now, it's described that just recently, behind the scenes, Chapek finalized the cancellation of a major Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars TV show that was still attached to the roadmap of the new universe, many of which still, of course, are attached to the roadmap of the Star Wars universe that are going to be slowly canceled one by one by Bob Chapek, as it takes time to do that by contract. Now, one of the most recent shows canceled from Chapek that was actually attached by Kathleen Kennedy was going to be a show that focused on a Last Jedi spin-off show. This Last Jedi spin-off series was live action that was in the works for a number of years. Softly was recently canceled altogether, that was going to feature the child known as Temari Blagg, also known as Broom Boy. Now, this series was going to focus on a group of Force-sensitive children that roam the galaxy. The Last Jedi spin-off series was also going to dive more into the galaxy's reaction to the death of Luke Skywalker, as Kathleen Kennedy wanted to expand his death on screen in the form of how it changed people across the galaxy. Now, initially, Daisy Ridley was signed on for this project when Kathleen Kennedy had lots of creative control, until sometime last year, Daisy decided to jump off the project and walk away from it all. This series was also going to focus and feature the return of Rian Johnson as a director for a couple of episodes that he too walked away from the series because he began to focus on Glass Onion, which is another Knives Out film of his that's currently in the works. Now, let me just pause here for a quick second. Now, the thing about this is that The Last Jedi spin-off, without a doubt, it would have been universally rejected, I think, by fans. I don't think anybody wants anything related to The Last Jedi, even in, the most remote sense. Nobody wants that. I think that at the end of the day, Bob Chapek dodged a major bullet here. He really prevented a lot of problems arising from the Star Wars fandom, and he made the right call. There's no doubt about this. I don't think anybody really asked for a TV show about Force-sensitive children that are featured in The Last Jedi's ending scene. Now, Temari Blagg, in case you guys did not know, also known as Broom Boy, this was a character that was specifically inserted into Rian Johnson's movie because Rian Johnson actually was setting up his own universe with Kathleen Kennedy. He was basically on the cusp of making a new Star Wars trilogy, along with a lot of spin-off shows, one of which being this one, that was in limbo for a very long time. We talked about this lightly about 1 year ago, and now it's officially getting cancelled by Bob Chapek, thankfully. Moving on. Now, the code name of the series simply went under Project Dream Force. It's unclear what the code name signals or means, but the show was going to focus on the Force-sensitive children that actually looked up to Luke Skywalker that would carry on his legacy through their inspiration of him as a Jedi. However, Kathleen Kennedy wanted to make this basically a sequel to The Last Jedi in a sense, where it takes place right after the events of the film. So that's another thing here, is that this show was really going to mainly focus on the after effects of the death of Luke Skywalker. Now sure, we've gotten a little hint of that here and there in the books and the comics, but they really wanted to showcase that in the actual Last Jedi spin-off series, codenamed Dreamforce. Now the thing about this is that the Jedi, of course, really have to be treated with care. And I think that focusing on a Last Jedi spin-off show would have been a disaster. To focus on Force-sensitive children that we've never seen before, it just seems like it would have been out of place, because you're taking characters from The Last Jedi that not a lot of people really even enjoyed, let alone, you know, that character, Temery Blagg, what did he have, like 1 minute of screen time total, if that? So I don't think it really makes all that much sense to just make a show about a character that has 1 minute of screen time in a Last Jedi film, of course. Now, moving beyond all of this too, is that Bob Chapek, no surprise, eventually once he actually got power as Disney CEO, he decided to recently cancel this altogether. Bob Iger, the original CEO, is the one who allowed this to happen and agreed with all of Kathleen Kennedy's ideas to use on the roadmap of the Star Wars franchise. The show was going to feature brand new characters and even the return of Kelly Marie Tran's character Rose. Kelly also walked off the project since she did not want to deal with more backlash from the Last Jedi situation. This ultimately is what led the series of getting cancelled, as Chapek realized there was zero familiarity with this new series for the fandom. Currently, Kennedy is very angry over the fact that Chapek scrapped the show from the roadmap of the Star Wars universe, and how it will never see the light of day and never release. Now, that's not all, because it was also going to feature, like I said before, Rian Johnson as a director. He was going to be involved in a handful of episodes, and that too would have been quite a pretty bad marketing choice, so to speak. Now the thing about this too is that this really sounds like a proto version of what Kathleen Kennedy is working on right now, that is known as Skeleton Crew. It's also about Jedi children, or Padawans if you will, that are going to be lost in the galaxy. Except, it doesn't take place after Episode 8, it takes place before Episode 7, but after Episode 6. It's in between. It's basically another Mandoverse project. But this one's being done by Kathleen Kennedy 100%. All creative control is given over to her for Skeleton Crew. Now, also, I think a lot of fans need to be aware about this, is that I'm glad that they canceled the show. It would have been something that nobody was going to be interested in. It sounds like it would have been very flat and boring, to me at least. I don't know about you guys, but I think that at the end of the day, what John and Dave are putting together is what's superior, and they're doing a fantastic job. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.